Satin everybody, boy Big Brando from the complaint department. So we got another complaint in the comments saying, why am I telling people to use Photoshop and Illustrator when there's free software out there that can do the same thing? Now, this person absolutely correct, because there are other softwares out there. Photoshop and Illustrator aren't the only softwares out there, but I don't use those other softwares. I use Photoshop and Illustrator. That's why I talk about it. Once again, this is my channel. This is how I run my businesses. I cannot talk about shit that I don't use. So if I don't use those other softwares, why would I tell somebody else to use them? That makes absolutely no sense. I use Photoshop and Illustrator, so that's why I talk about Photoshop and Illustrator. Once again, people like to complain about anything, man. I could be giving them free game all day long and they'll still find a reason to complain about it. So, Mr. Complainer, if you use a different software, that's fine. You should make some YouTube videos about that free software that you use and start telling people that there are other options out there. Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with you coming to my comments and saying there's other softwares to use that are out there. That's fine by me. But if you're talking shit about me and why am I doing certain things on my own YouTube channel, now we got an issue. Because this is my channel. I do whatever the fuck I want here. I talk about whatever the fuck I want here. So, welcome to the complaint department. See, for myself, I've used Photoshop and Illustrator for years. I learned on these softwares and it doesn't make any sense for me to try to learn a new software now when I already have learned how to use Photoshop and Illustrator. It makes absolutely no sense for myself to go out and try to learn some other software after all these years of learning Photoshop and Illustrator. It makes absolutely no sense for myself. If you're just getting into this, find a software that's easy for you to learn and then stick with it. That's all I'm saying. So for me, I can only talk about what I use and what I do. And I've used and I've learned Photoshop and Illustrator. A lot of times I make these videos where I'm talking about Photoshop more than Illustrator, and that's because Photoshop is cheaper than Illustrator when you're paying for the subscription. So that's the main reason why I talk about like Photoshop, because the shit could be $10 a month versus Illustrator being fucking $20 a month, whatever the price breakdown is. So more people buy Photoshop and pay for Photoshop outside of paying for Illustrator and just learning that software. So if you ever wanted to learn something about those softwares, just go on YouTube, type in Photoshop, type in Illustrator, and you can learn all kind of stuff. Pick out each tool, learn the pen tool first. That way you can figure out how to redraw stuff. Learn the text tool, how to manipulate text. All that stuff can be found out on YouTube like you're watching right now. All right, so hopefully this video helps somebody out. And for the complainers out there, keep complaining, man, because you're just giving me more content for you guys. All right, catch you guys on the next one, man. Yeah.